Hi, I'm Karen Curry Parker. Welcome to Understanding Your Human Design. This is a brief introduction to give you some very basic information about your human design type. Your human design type is going to tell you a lot about who you are, your life purpose, what you're here to do, and most importantly, some key themes in your life that, when you understand them, help you maximize your potential and live a life that's more true to who you really are. When we think about the different human design types, and there are 5 different types, and we use the metaphor of putting on a play or putting on a show, as a manifester, you are the producer. Your role, your purpose is to get things started. You're here to initiate things. You have, as a manifester, an internal nonverbal creative flow that you need to follow. That means you get inner promptings, inner feelings, different ways of connecting to an impetus or an urge to move that oftentimes doesn't have language associated with it. When you get an inner prompting to go do something, your natural way to do it is to just literally go do it, which is powerful and important because you're following that inner prompting, that inner impetus to take action, causes you to lead change by being the person who inspires others into action by virtue of the actions that you take. So when you do something, you start a wave of possibility, a wave of energy, and the people behind you are inspired by your actions and follow and do the same. Each human design type has a particular strategy, a decision-making process. As a manifester, your strategy is to take stock of who's around you, notice who's going to be impacted by your actions, and tell them what you're going to do. This isn't necessarily the easiest, most natural way for you to operate in the world, but when you start to look at who's going to be impacted by your actions and you tell them what you're going to do, that doesn't mean you're going to ask permission. You don't need permission. But if you inform people about what you're going to do, that allows them to prepare for your wave of action. That means they're not going to interrupt your creative flow. They're going to stand back and create space for you to do what you do best, and that's inspire and initiate others through your actions. And you can complete the fulfillment of that internal nonverbal creative drive that you have. Every type has an emotional theme. As a manifester, your emotional theme is anger. It's not really anger, but it's an experience that doesn't have a great word in English. What really happens for you is that if you either fail to inform people about what you're doing, or if you do inform and people try to stop you or they try to help you, anytime your creative flow gets disrupted, because it's such a force of energy. You are such a force of energy. When that creative flow gets disrupted, it causes you to experience that disrupted flow as anger. All of that power that is you has to go somewhere. And if you don't get to complete whatever it is you're working on, if you're putting things away or moving from one room to the other, or you're building something or doing something and you get interrupted and you have to stop, what happens a lot of times is you lose your connection to your creative flow. And when you lose that connection, that energy has to go somewhere. And so it's experienced oftentimes as anger. You're not really angry. It's that energy inside of you gets disrupted and it has to get discharged somehow. Your wealth theme, because you are not here to work in the sustainable, consistent way that traditional people work, meaning you're here to get things started and then move on to the next thing and then move on to the next thing. You're not a detail person. You're not really here to work in the traditional way that we are taught to work. Your wealth theme is get something started, leverage it if you can, sock some money aside so that when you have ebbs in your energy, when you're not in that creative flow, when you have rest cycles, you have the financial support to sustain you during those rest cycles. Your challenge as a manifester is that you don't have sustainable energy. You have the energy for starting things, you have the energy for getting the ball rolling, but not necessarily the energy for sustaining it, not necessarily the energy for handling all of the little details around it. You move faster than other people when it's time for you to take action, and that sometimes can leave you feeling a little bit annoyed or frustrated with the people around you who can't quite keep up. You need, as a manifester, to get the right kind of support. And for you, the right kind of support is having people around you who understand you and who give you the freedom to move in the following of your own creative flow. Famous manifestors include George W. Bush and Robert De Niro. If you want to learn more about your human design, go check out the Human Design Activation Guide. You can find your Human Design Activation Guide on Amazon.com.